It's freezing, but it should be on a lovely dark night like this. Why am I here? Where the hell am I? I'm in Seghill. Now, Seghill, not far from Cramlington, just up down from Morpeth. If you've ever been before, you've probably driven straight through it heading somewhere else. Most people do. However, there used to be a huge tower here, a huge peel tower. And the thing about peel towers, if you got up the top of one, you could always see another peel tower over the tree line. What were they for? Well, it was so if a band of renegades, if a foreign army, if the Scots were coming down to steal everything you had, if the Vikings were landing, you rang that bell, you peeled that bell. That's why it was a peel tower. You peeled the bell and everybody got hold of their stuff, headed into the woods, hid in caves, hid in forests, made sure they were as far away as they possibly could be. However, here in Seghill, what a great story. There was a guy who used to be in the army and he got wounded in the leg and he used to have to drag his foot along. So he couldn't fight anymore. So instead of fighting, they said, we've got the job for you. You're going to be in charge of the peel tower. All you have to do every day, and he got paid for it, was to climb up the peel tower round and round and round and round to the very top. Now, the peel tower had various floors, and in the very bottom, they kept salt collected from the sea because salt was a really, really expensive commodity. So you kept it in your most secure place, which was locked firmly behind the huge wooden door of the peel tower. Then you went up, and that's where his billet was, his little bed where he slept in the warm, and then you climbed right the way up to the very top where the bell was. You also occasionally light fires there to warn people. And that was his daytime job. Morning, noon and night, he was up the peel tower. And he did a really good job. And one day, he spotted, from the distance, a huge gaggle of vagabonds heading towards them, obviously intent on taking everything that the small village of Seghill had. So he rang the bell, everybody beetled off. He himself went downstairs, locked the big door to make sure that nobody could get in, and back then the door was said to be 3 foot of wood thick, which is massive. People had tried to burn it open without success, because while they're trying to do that, the guys at the top of the peel tower chucking boiling hot water at them, boiling hot pitch, huge rocks that he spent all day when there was nothing happening, carrying up the damn stairs. But they came in handy. They tried to get in without success. This guy, brave as hell, waited till they all had had a few and was completely sozzled on the drink they'd stolen from Seghill. And they were all lying around in tents and on the floor, and they'd taken the cottages of the villagers of Seghill, and they were in their beds, literally sleeping it off after a big night of drink. So he decided he was going to quietly open the door, sneak out, and go into the first hut and cut the throats of the invaders. And he was successful with the first one. So he crept to the next, 3 or 4 of them lying on the floor beside a campfire, one by one, slitting their throats, putting his foot on their neck so they didn't cry out, making sure they'd stop twitching before he let go. Then he went into the next hut, dispatched them. And then, when he thought he'd pretty much killed all of the people that he could see, he thought, right, I'm going to sneak back in. And he got back, looking around, dog started barking, his heart was thumping, he runs back to the door, slams the door behind him, puts the big lock in place. He's done it. He's a hero, even despite his bad leg, he's the hero of the day. However, what he didn't know is a couple of the invaders had seen him get up, and they'd snuck into the peel tower, and they were waiting there for him. They captured him, and because they were Viking, they had a way of, well, dispatching, particularly the religious people. The Vikings hated the Christian preachers because they knew they were hypocrites, because they were living in splendour, while their slaves had absolutely nothing and were beaten and badly treated. So they hated the priests, and they had a way of dealing with them. They would peel the skin off their fingers, then up their arms, then across their chest and torso, then their whole body, their penis, their backside, their legs. They would peel the skin down to the very last toe. and then, still alive, with the entire body peeled, except for the head, then they would start to peel the face, take all the skin off the face, take the skin from underneath the nose, peel it so that the nose was open to the elements, peel the skin off the eyelids so you couldn't shut his eye. They took the skin off his brow right the way across the top of his head, and he was still alive, and he was still screaming atrocities at these people for what he was having to endure. So what they did was they moved the trap door from where he was living in his billet, and they threw him down into the salt, where I would imagine in a split second of absolute agony he would die of toxic shock. And he is said to walk around Seghill, but particularly the Blake's Arms Hotel, which is just along the road from here. In the cellar, the original base where the salt was of Seghill Tower still exists. The pub use it to keep their barrels. We'll try and stick a photograph of that on there so you can have a look at it. Amazing story right here in Seghill.